This is the Dream Chasers Show. What's going on, everybody? This is Eric and Kate with the Dream Chasers Show.
Dream Chasers.
We're so glad to have you guys here, and we got a great one lined up for you.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about some morning routines and how to win your day by winning your morning.
There's proven success that morning people are more effective, more productive, happier, healthier individuals.
This is backed by science. It's not just philosophy.
It's science.
It's science, dude.
So take that, nighttime owls, you people who can stay up past 9 p.m.
Let's cool it on the finger pointing because that's me.
I know.
In my heart, that's like who I am. I think that's like an important thing to talk about real quickly. There actually is a distinct difference between a night owl and a morning bird. Like, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
We're all different, just like our metabolisms are different. So I believe that some people really are night people.
Yeah.
And others really are morning people.
And there's nothing wrong with it other than I envy you, like, to my core.
To be a night person?
Yeah.
Why?
It'd be so nice. You remember when we used to have friends and we'd hang out with them? And do you remember Pumpkin Brittany? It was funny because Pumpkin Brittany and I had the same thing in common, that we would turn into pumpkins.
At like 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we knew, like, we would just be the tired ones on game night, yawning, and it's like after dinner time.
Yeah.
We're like, can we just go to bed now?
Yeah. The reality is, when you get up early in the morning, you can get so many things done. And that's what this show is about today. We're going to talk to you guys about 10 ways to basically win your morning, because that's the morning times when you have free time and no one's bugging you. Mm-hmm. You don't have to answer emails, texts, phone calls.
At least you shouldn't.
You shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. And
that's the best way to set up the rest of your day. Mm-hmm. If you have a good morning, you're going to have a good day.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's get to it.
Let's jump in.
Okay, so we're going to break down the 10 ways to have a successful morning and become a morning person. So the first one in the 10 principles is setting a regular bedtime. There's this crazy thing called a circadian rhythm, and it's what your natural clock is for your body. Like, you just have an eternal clock that tells you when to wake up, when to eat, when to go do all of the things. Like, your body is just set on an eternal clock. So if you go to bed at a regular time consistently, then that will help you consistently wake up earlier. Mm-hmm. On a regular basis.
Regular is the key.
Do you remember when you were making that transition? And
I still struggle with it.
Do you really?
Oh, totally. Huh. Yeah, like, I feel like I'll be good at it from Monday through Friday. I'm like getting ready for bed at 9:30. And then on Saturday and Sunday is like, ooh, I'm just going to slack off and stay up late.
It's the weekend.
Yeah. And then Monday I suffer. And I'm like, crap. But I think if you stay like to a strict scheduled bedtime, and you don't deviate from it, you start to get in a really good groove.
Yeah.
So, number 2 is get an alarm clock. Now, that one sounds really weird because most of us have alarms on our phone. But there's this really cool alarm clock that Kate found. It's on Amazon. It's called a light alarm. And what's so cool about this light alarm is it's actually a light. And let's say she sets it at 5. At about 4:30 or so, it'll start to slowly light up the room. Almost like a sunrise. It'll start as a dull red and turn into a brighter yellow.
I can change the settings on that. Do you know that? It's just super customizable. Like, I can even start waking up to the sun an hour in advance, or just even 10 minutes before it goes off. It's pretty cool. Then I can set, like, if it's a deep red or if it's a bright white. Yeah. It's pretty neat.
How much better and nicer is that than waking up to the conventional, like, and you like jolt awake out of bed?
Well, at least that gets your heart rate going, because you almost have a heart attack.
Yeah, if you got heart problems, that's rough on your But
this one's pretty cool. Like, it has mine has little birds that start chirping at 5 a.m. and it's just lovely. Like, I am Snow White living in my little fairy tale, waking up with my birds. Yeah, it's pretty great.
It's a peaceful way to wake up.
It is. It's a spend your alarm clock though, about $50. Maybe even $60. Mm-hmm. But man, it is a game changer. If you're not a morning person, me being the scientific, nerdy person that I am, there's actually studies behind too, like the light that wakes you up. You can see light through your eyelids. I mean, if you don't believe me, go outside and close your eyes and look at the sun. You still see the sun, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's why that alarm clock works out so well, is because that alarm clock is naturally waking up your body, so you're not jolted awake by that.
Especially in the winter when like the sun doesn't come up till
8 a.m.
8 a.m.
Yeah.
In the winter time. Number 3 is hitting the snooze button. Now this one's a whammy, and it affects me personally because I'm kind of a snooze button hitter by nature.
You snooze button pressing mother trucker.
Mother trucker. So I heard this in another podcast though, where they were talking about hitting the snooze button, and they were saying when you hit the snooze button, it's like telling yourself that you're okay with setting a standard and then missing that standard. So the night before, you're like, okay, I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. And then the alarm goes off at 6 and you hit the snooze button. So now you've lowered that standard by 10 minutes. And you continue to do that every time you hit the snooze button. And it's interesting because that's like a trait that's becomes like part of who you are.
You're like lying to yourself. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to wake up at 6. Nah, no, I'm not. I'm going to wake up at 6:15. And that was your boy Ed.
Ed Milet.
Ed Milet.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. Eric's man crush.
He's my man crush. So if you're a snooze button hitter, I think with that light alarm clock, there maybe isn't a snooze button on there. And if there is, put it across the room. Like get it away from you so that it's not next to your bed.
That's another helpful tip too. Any alarm clock, just set it across the room, because if you get out of bed, you're less likely to just thumb tap it and do snooze and go back to bed.
Yeah. Stick it across the room.
Yeah. Number 4. So this is something that's helped both of us in different ways. Hydrate and cold water. I like to drink cold water, like hydrate right away in the morning, and you like to splash cold water on your face. So just any kind of cold water therapy right away in the morning. I like the hydrate because, like I'm fasting all night long from drinking, and then drinking a cup of water, it's like it just wakes up my little internal organs. And
yeah. Well, it makes sense because your body is mostly water. And so if you've been fasting for 8 hours or however long you sleep, your body needs that water to basically replace from not drinking anything all night.
Right.
And then the science behind splashing water on your face, some people take cold showers. That's a huge commitment. I don't know if I can master that.
I don't think you need science backed up to prove it. Just splash some cold water in your face.
And you'll see.
You'll wake up.
Find out real quick. Yeah, and I mean, it wakes you up. You like gain like 20 minutes back, because let's say you're groggy for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If you splash cold water on your face, it's like boom, like a lightning bolt just smacked you.
Whew, good for you.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's one that I haven't committed to, because I like to have my nice cup of joe and warm up with that with my hands wrapped around the cup.
All slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And read.
Yep.
Read. Which brings us into the next one, number 5, read or learn something right away in the morning. So yeah, I have my cup of joe and I read for 10, 15 minutes every morning.
I think that's a good one to talk about, because a lot of us think there's no time. I don't have time to read. I don't have time to learn something new, even though I really want to learn how to play the guitar or learn how to cook or learn how to invest, right? But if you were to take just 10 minutes a day and read every day, you can get through like 2 or 3 books a month.
Yeah.
And imagine how far you'll be mentally, physically, whatever you're learning about. If you just read 3 books a month, wow, it'd be insane. And I can tell you from personal experience, it's a game changer.
It is. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Number 6, make your bed. Now, why do you? I'm curious why that one is so important.
I just don't like looking at our room without a made bed. I just don't like messy beds.
Yeah. So you don't have to return to a messy bed.
Yeah. Plus I do laundry on the bed, and we do a lot of things on the bed. Like that's another surface that we can use during the day.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but why do you think so?
So I heard. I don't know who I heard. I listen to a lot of people and read a lot of things.
Yeah,
but
you do.
They were talking about making your bed, and the reason to do it is because it's a small win. It's a small task that you complete in the morning, and it kind of like carries over to the rest of the tasks in your day. If you already get one task knocked out right away in the morning, you've got some momentum going into the day. So the next task is easier, and the next one's easier, and you're just kind of succeeding along the way instead of sloppily rolling out of bed and then showing up to work late and then everything else is off.
Yeah.
Making your bed is one of those steps.
And at least if you do have a crappy Monday, hey, at least you made your bed.
Yeah, that's true.
Number 7 is exercise. Now, I'm not a big meathead like Eric is. Although I'd like to look like him. I think I could pull off the beard. Yeah.
The bearded lady.
Yeah, the bearded lady.
We're into some different times right now, so you might be able to pull that off.
I know, right? Yeah. But some form of exercise, even just push-ups, sit-ups, something to get your heart rate up, because when your heart rate's up, it's hard to fall asleep when you're at 140 beats per minute.
Yeah. Yeah, just getting that blood flow going.
Yeah.
Lubricating the joints. And the other thing is, it doesn't have to be an hour long. It doesn't even have to be at the gym. Like, it just 15 to 20 minutes. If you do push-ups, sit-ups, you like to do yoga in the morning.
I do. And stretch. Stretch has been a really great exercise.
Yeah.
I thought it was just, one of those little menial tasks that you do after the actual exercise. But no, if you really focus on stretching, like your flexibility, that mind-muscle connection that you're always telling me about.
Yeah.
Never really got it until I was stretching with intention. I'm like, oh, wow, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing about exercise, too, is it makes you happier. It releases endorphins. And so it just makes your day like happier, brighter, cheerier. You just have a better start to your morning if you're able to get even, like you said, 15, 20 minutes of exercise in. It feels so good.
It does.
And
it does. Just to move your body.
And then you're done with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's done. You don't have to worry about it after work.
Yep. So number 8 is meditating and journaling. I love journaling. And I know that, like, I never thought that I would love journaling, but I've got this cool 5-year journal.
It's literally 5 years.
5 years.
It's a thick textbook.
I've been carrying this thing around for 4 years now. Going on, it will be 5 years in 2024, so that's pretty exciting. But it's really neat because I just open it up to today's date, and then I get to see all of the entries of the previous years on that date. So it's cool because I get to see the growth, the things that I was struggling with, how much I was complaining about you that day.
Classic. Yeah. It's funny because I remember several times where I'm sitting down and you're reading through your journal and you're like, did you know that 2 years ago today, I was so mad at you because of X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, oh, great. So you're just storing up ammunition. What a great start to the morning. I'm going to splash some water on my face. Yeah. Don't disturb me.
Go run.
Yeah.
Go run away.
Yeah. It is a cool journal, though.
It is.
We get to reflect back on where we were at that time.
Yeah.
3-4 years ago. And
it's really neat, and it's helped me realize, too, like, in those problems, as I'm facing them, they just feel so heavy. Like, they're such weighted problems. I'm thinking, oh, man, how am I ever going to get around this? Or this is what I'm facing. How am I ever going to, get past this thing? And then a year goes by, looking back at what I was struggling with over the last several years. It allows me to realize and have faith that everything works out for, it always works out. Yeah,
it's so true. Because we'll look back and be like, dude, I remember struggling financially, emotionally. We just had a baby or whatever that struggle was at the time.
Yeah.
We had no answer. We didn't know what was going to happen. And then you're like, whoa, it worked itself out.
And all I could do is write it down at the time. And it's been so mending for my soul, which then brings me into meditation and how I think that these go hand in hand. And if you've never meditated before, it's pretty simple. There's like thousands of ways to do it. But just, I think the important part is be quiet, calm your mind, sit still for just a few minutes, and then be grateful.
Mm-hmm. And also, if what might help you guys out is downloading an app called Calm, C-A-L-M. That helped us get started, and it's guided meditation.
Yeah.
And it's for all kinds of stuff. If you have insomnia, if you have anxiety, depression, there's a lot of things on there that it helps with. Number 9, eat food. I know
Eric's favorite.
Yeah, I know so many people that skip breakfast. I think of it like this. If you're going to try to take your car somewhere, you got to stick gas in the tank, right? So your body's just like a vehicle. Before you go anywhere and do anything, you got to put gas in the tank. And it's important that the quality of food is a big deal.
Yes.
So like the sugary cereals, that's not so helpful. But if it were fruit, vegetable, have some water and maybe some oatmeal or something like that, it also jumpstarts our
metabolism.
Yeah, it also jumpstarts our metabolism too. So believe it or not, you can actually lose weight if you eat a healthy breakfast.
It's bananas.
It's bananas.
Eat a banana.
Eat a banana.
In the morning.
Yeah.
Number 10, last but certainly not least, attack your day with a schedule. How does that saying go? If you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter where. You'll just end up anywhere and see. I don't know. I'm terrible with those things.
Something.
Help me out,
All right.
Captain.
It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger saying, and he says, a person without a goal is like a ship without a captain. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up washed up on some shore, deserted basically, with you just wherever the waves take you. But if you have a schedule and you have a set goal, what you're trying to accomplish that day, that week, that month, even that year, then you're going to end up in a destination. You're going to actually make progress and end up where you're going.
Yeah, because you don't just accidentally trip on your goals. Like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, oh yeah, I just happened to get to this goal that I wanted on accident, even though I didn't know I wanted it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't happen. You have to have an aim, and the best way to get there is having a schedule.
To do it.
To get there.
Yep. So we've been living on a schedule on the Google Calendar since we started our real estate team, and it's been probably 6 years or so now. And that has changed our lives dramatically, because one instance I can think of in particular is when something pops in your head, like, oh, I really need to do this thing. Instead of just writing it down, then never finding that sticky note again, I just put it in my calendar for whatever date it is. And then it shows up. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta record this podcast. Oh yeah, I have to do my taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I put everything in there. I put when I eat in there. We put when we work out in there.
Addie has her own little schedule too.
We got Addie on a schedule.
Yep.
It's weird because it sounds like we don't have freedom, but honestly, I think we have more freedom with that schedule.
Yeah.
It allows us to have more freedom.
I agree. And like just more certainty with how the day is going to roll out too. I hate uncertainty. So like when I wake up and I don't know what's on the agenda for the day, or if my Google Calendar just disappeared, I would be genuinely scared.
All right, so we talked about 10 ways to dominate your morning, to basically dominate the rest of your day. And these are all things that we practice. We're not perfect by any means. There's days that we screw up. But I think it's important to start small, and especially if you're a late riser like I am, starting small by just incrementally waking up earlier and earlier. So like setting your alarm back 10 minutes and send it back 10 minutes after that next week, and just keep going. That is a great way to at least get started.
Yeah. And if you haven't checked out the book already, The Miracle Morning, check it out. I know he takes an entire hour for his routine, but he also says that he can take his entire routine and just condense it down to even 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So even if you can just wake up 10 minutes earlier and do important things that'll set you up for the success of your rest of the day, why wouldn't you do that?
Mm-hmm. Booyah.
Boo freaking y'all.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Adios.